Good afternoon. This is John Ting, your host with greencardguys.tv. I'm here to solve your immigration problem and maybe even prevent it from happening in the first place. Folks, welcome to the channel, especially if you're new. Subscribe down below and smash the like button and click the bell for all the future notifications so you get all the future tips and tricks. All right. So, folks, today is a hot topic that people are a question that people are always wondering, especially when their people are suffering a delay with their case. And I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, based on what different agencies have received, there is information out there that, unfortunately, because of 9/11, even though back in 2001, and I know other people have conspiracy theories on all that, but all that put aside, what is the consequence now? What are people having to unfortunately suffer through? And the pandemic has made it the problem more revealing as to the issue. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here on why I know this. Okay, and unfortunately, there are some countries, people from certain countries are being discriminated against. So let me try and make this larger. So for example, I'm looking at the ACLU website. So if you just type in Google search CARRP program, you're going to see information about um, people who are from Muslim countries, Middle East, or um, South Asian communities. For example, a lot of people are delayed, folks. It's very frustrating. By the way, if you have been your case been challenged or denied, and maybe you're not even from these communities or countries, and you think because of some kind of discriminatory action, unfortunately, please drop in the comments, share with us. It's very important for us as a community, uh, especially we're helping guide people from immigrating the legal way from other countries into America legally. Then we need to know your story. Okay, so please share, and because hopefully we can tell the government, hey, you got to stop doing this. Okay, so let me share my screen again. So there's been different lawsuits about this. There's different. These are all this is information. As you can see, FOIA request the ACLU has done. Let me just click on one of them. Okay, this is a letter from the ACLU to the government requesting certain information. This is back in 2012. Okay, and this is let me give the short thing here. Okay, I mean this is 74 pages. I'm not going to go through all of it here, but here's the deal. It's not just for people who are abroad. It's also for people who are in the United States. So this is essentially the government saying, "Look, we're going to have to do more investigation," and the government's really limited in their resources, as you can imagine. Just think about your local police department. If your local police department or even your local city office has less people working, think about it on the federal level. It's the same thing. Unfortunately, because the government has less resources, even before the pandemic, your case is going to get stuck even longer. So I get it. Number one, the government should not be discriminating against folks automatically without any reason. If it was in a criminal law context, that'd be called probable cause. So the government is just basically saying, more or less, that this program is in place because of 9/11. So they're trying to say they have the right to delay people and do extra investigation on someone's case, profile, background, simply because of the country they're from or their religion. And that's obviously not right. That's completely wrong. So, what is the solution? The quote unquote quicker solution in your case is to file a lawsuit, okay, to speed up your case. Now, sure, I talked about last week several times about how to send in us expedite request, but that's really for current situation. For example, if you have a you know, your country that you live in right now has pandemic quarantine type restrictions or rules. I believe a lot more countries are loosening that up, but if your country still is, then you might be eligible to or have more reason to file an expedite request. Okay, so unfortunately, again, especially if you are, and the thing is, like, they might not even know if you're Muslim or practice that religion. So it's just based on a lot of assumptions. Okay, folks. So if you don't know if your case is suffering some kind of delay, give us a call. Okay. Or the other way is to click on our website. I'm pointing down because our website's down below. We're going to drop a link as well in the comment section after the show. One of my team members will do that, and I'll share with you because it's better to have a better idea, okay, if your case qualifies for a mandamus lawsuit. We call it mandamus. That's the legal action we can take. And we'll let you know if we can help you file it yet or not. Some people, we tell them, look, not yet, especially if when the pandemic's happening, it might not be worth it to file mandamus action in terms of, if you have a budget. If money is not a problem, then here's the deal. Because if people require a waiver, there is already a delay on waiver cases. So we already know. So we try to help people make a choice. And I know it's hard. We prefer that clients, that you make the choice ultimately at the end of the day. But we can help you guide you to make that decision so you feel more comfortable. Because a lot of loved ones, we receive many calls about this every single day and messages throughout our different platforms. Which, by the way, folks, if you're wondering how to reach us, and especially if you're abroad, find us on WhatsApp. Okay, 346-330-5888. It's on the bottom here, scrolling. Because above, I don't have it set up yet, that number on WhatsApp, so it might be a little confusing. Sorry about that. Sorry for all the people that have contacted us there on 720 number. 720 number, please, if that's US based. If you're here in America, use that one. All right. So, because for example, some people say, "Hey, John, it's been," or this when I chat with any of our stellar associates, attorneys, and I say, "Hey, I filed a petition, fiance petition, actually, whichever petition, 6 months ago, and it's still pending." 6 months is not enough time to file a lawsuit for sure. Any kind of relationship type. So want to give you an idea because we have received those kind of calls too, which we're completely open to answering those questions. But if you have comment or questions, please drop in the comment section, even after the show and you're watching this later on. Thank you so much for tuning in because a lot of folks are waiting and it's too long. Sometimes people call us or message us and say, "John, I've been waiting 2 years after filing petition, and it's only on step number one. There's a couple more steps typically, and after petition is the NVC stage, and then after that is the or NVC is to upload the financial documents, for example, and after that is the scheduling in queue for the interview, the actual visa interview." Okay, folks, so you're welcome, Angela. Happy to help. Happy to share. Marlon, nice to see you. Thank you for joining again. Appreciate it. And Marlon is I think you tune in almost every day. So definitely appreciate it. Yeah. And folks, please share with your friends. I think Marlon, you've done that before. I don't know. I think it shows me on this end. But anyway, please share with your friends if you think if you know they're going through an immigration case or may have a question because that's really what we're trying to highlight here on this show more much differently than many other attorneys on YouTube, and that's really discuss problems, okay? Because a lot of people are unfortunately having these challenges, and you might feel stuck. There is a solution, and so that's why we talk about it pretty much every day. So even if you think it's not going to happen to your case for delay, it probably will, to be honest. And I know some folks get lucky, fortunately, and might get their EAD approved in a certain time frame. We've had that happen, get approved like 3 months after filing, and that's great. But it doesn't always happen for everyone. Okay. And you might wonder, like, why is my friend's case, why my coworker's case getting processed faster, or they process and get the green card? It depends on a lot of different facts, and that's why we offer folks the free 15-minute preliminary discussion. It's free. It's free. Sorry, I'm still coming over my daughter being sick a couple weeks ago, and then I got sick last 2 weeks. Or maybe it's just me being excited to share information. We offer free 15 minutes. I really recommend you take advantage of it. Okay. And I see some more questions. I'll answer that soon. And the way to take advantage of it is stick around towards the end of the show. I should be on for at least another 5-10 minutes, and I'll share with you a secret code. Now, share that secret code with our cares team when you first call in. Again, so you can call above that number down below WhatsApp if you're outside the US, or you can click on the form down below um, for greencardguys.com. Okay, and fill out the form, and this is how to do it. I'm trying to find the little short clip on how to do that. Yeah, go to our website, greencardguys.com, click on contact us, scroll down, take quiz, answer a few questions. We don't want to take up too much of your time, but especially if you have a denial decision or something like that, 797 decision letter. I'm sorry, that's not 797. Or even if you have a 797 notice, especially if an age out situation, please share that with us. It'll save us a lot of time back and forth. And that's how we're able to offer the free 15 minutes when you share more info. And after you click on that form, it will take you to the next page on the website to self-schedule an appointment. But even if you do that, our cares team is pretty good to call you within. Hopefully, we have a guideline of 24 hours to call you back. It's become more and more difficult because we do receive a lot of inquiries and questions. So please bear with us if it does take a little longer than 24 hours. Now, folks, I do see the question here of what happened to the 221G process? Is it so slow? Heck yeah, it's slow. I try not to curse on here, but oh my goodness, I would say every curse word if I if at least I don't think YouTube cares about it, but um it's very slow. We get inquiries about people. I'm pausing a lot here because it's very, very unfortunate that people are having to wait because of the inefficiency. I really hate to use this other word, but it's definitely more than inefficiency. They're really discriminating against people. That's why I had this topic here today. Does immigration discriminate? And it's at the end of the day, even not talking about people from Middle East or Muslim communities, but I unfortunately believe that the government is, call it conspiracy theory, whatever you want, but clearly you can see a lot of videos on YouTube. People are talking about delays. Okay. If they're not talking about delays, then they don't really know exactly everything that's going on from start to finish. So you could be receiving a delay even if you're in the United States and as an immigrant, as a foreign national. Now, what happened to the 221G process is so slow. Yes, it is too slow. I remember someone called us the other day saying that they waited. They've been in the National Visa Center stage, okay, typically step number 2, for a year, at least a year. And I think one other person, yeah, several people say that at least a year after the actual interview. Okay. Now, Marlon, to your question, do they discriminate skin color or geography? I would say more geography. Um, in what I believe, I hope it's, if anything, if they're going to discriminate on anything or filter applicants, I would hope it's on geography and not color or race. But it's just very unfortunate, and I'm not making stuff up, folks. That's why I'm sharing my screen here. That it's all right here. Okay, it's all right here. Government resources, so you can take a look. I'm gonna add a link to this as a comment here, so you should have access to it later if you just happen to have time to look at it. But let's see what else to share with you. There's just so many documents here. They're a lot older, but just because it's older does not mean it's not still active. Think about this. President Obama, when he first came into office, 2008, 2009, he was saying from day one, I think it was part of his political speech in the beginning, his stump speech, that he wanted to close down Guantanamo Bay. Is it closed down? It's still open. He signed an executive order his first month in office, and a lot of us are very excited that it was in the process, at least on paper, being shut down. Pretty sure it's still open. Okay. If you do a little Google searching, still open. So just because if a government agency is saying they stopped this CARRP program, probably not. Okay. So, and you can sense that when a lot of people from certain countries receive this inquiry or receive this document 221G or another document saying, hey, you need to fill out the DS 5535. Why do you think they want you to fill out this form? Why do they need to know the last 10 to 15 years of your address? Okay, of course, the government needs to know, verify about for national security reasons. But ultimately, what are they doing with this information? Are they actually vetting it? Or are they just wasting time? Are they just doing that in the guise of, sure, we're going to vet for national security, but do they even have the resources to check? I completely understand if they're checking for everyone, but we all know how at least how governments across the world, I'm sure, is number. United States is the number one superpower. I'm sure there's some people that disagree with that, but with us being the number one superpower or a superpower in the world, we're pretty inefficient and we discriminate. So we, as in, certain government agencies. So, anyways, there's a lot of history on that with the U.S. government, despite us being a world power. So please don't assume, folks, that just because the United States is like where a lot of people want to go, that doesn't mean that it's going to be easy life here. First of all, I'm just being honest. We have to pay taxes, a lot of taxes. Um, That'd be another discussion. Maybe I should create another show just for coffee with John or something. Just have chit chat, not necessarily about immigration. One day when I have more time. But yeah, don't think that just because United States allows people to apply for immigration benefit and that we're a superpower, that somehow you should wait. Okay. You really need to call a lawyer that handles mandamus cases or federal lawsuits in this scenario that know about delays, okay, and the solutions to these delays. Now, we've had a lot of success stories where even when we file a lawsuit, maybe like a month ago or 3 months ago, that the client has been able to get their status. Now, again, it doesn't have to be always someone who is abroad outside the US. It's for folks who suffering delays here in the United States. And it's not just for the green card residency. It's also for people that are trying to become a US citizen. Okay. So again, I'm going to share my screen here, but this is all useful information that you can take a look. Here's an infographic. I don't know if I can show you. Oh, access denied. There might be some documents you might need to have access to, but or you're blocked. See a question. Let me take that off the screen here. Can someone else sign an attorney agreement for rep on behalf of 18-year-old? You can. I mean, we prefer, at least law firms prefer, some kind of power of attorney. Um, But I know most, and by the way, folks, power of attorney is that, for example, whoever needs to be signing it originally needs to be signing this power of attorney that can give consent, authorization. But I mean, I know not every law firm requires that in this kind of scenario. Unfortunately, it just has to sometimes boil down on trust. So and that way we can take action quicker, okay, on your case, for example. But yeah, I mean, it depends on the office, on the law firm, okay? Basic, not interesting name. There you got. But yeah, even though basic, not, even if you are the person or someone else you know is signing the contract on behalf of the 18-year-old, you really have to, I recommend, explain the contract to, you really need to try to explain the contract to, what's it called? The, uh, the applicant, okay, to the person, to the friend, because in the situation that the person who's signing looks like, okay, you say your older brother's doing this, and you're 22, by the way, he won't let me meet with the lawyer. Okay, see, that's the problem. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. Um, that's what I'm trying to get at because really, if, for example, if you are the client of this case, you you have the right to speak with that lawyer. So I hope you know who that lawyer is. And it sounds like, of course, a lot of families help out. It could be an aunt, it could be a cousin, not always a brother, right, or sibling. But this is where I would suggest. I don't understand why your brother wouldn't let you talk with a lawyer. Um, if that's what you're trying to say, that your brother won't let you or someone else. But it's important for you to know because I don't know. Yeah, again, I don't understand why your brother would want to control this, but it's because of timing. Some cases require timing for things to be done in a certain time frame, a deadline of a case. So if you are aware of it, then it's important. So for us, even when we're helping out a someone who's a minor under 18, we still ask for an email because or a phone number. Like these days with technology, hopefully you do have a phone. Hey, you're on YouTube, so hopefully you got a phone, and so that's at least what we ask for as a law firm is for contact information. So good luck, basic knot that hopefully you can talk with a lawyer. I mean, yeah, hopefully you know the reason why your brother doesn't let you talk with the lawyer, your law attorney. But at the end of the day, you could change lawyers if that's the case. Hopefully you don't need to though. Hopefully your lawyer is on top of your case and getting things done. And folks, this reminds me, sometimes your case after you get it filed by a lawyer or even on your own, there could be a long delay and it could be, I'm sorry, there's a certain time period that is standard. Like if you're filing for um, adjustment of status for residency through a spouse, it's typically going to take about 12 months. Still, fortunately, as they start to pick up the processing times. But there's certain things to share with you as a law firm to the client. But there's going to be a stretch of a couple months that you might not receive any information. But our law firm is doing things differently. We're updating now about every month, whether it's by email or a phone call, just a touch base. So if you appreciate that kind of contact, consider us. Now, with that being said, I do want to answer this question. God bless USA. Love the name. I wanted to talk to you, but you're very expensive. I wanted to answer that because I don't know your name because you have God bless USA as your YouTube name, but I don't know if you're saying that we don't share prices online. One day, I hope we do that, but so we can save time for everyone involved. Um, but here's the deal. I have a pretty big team now. It used to be just me and a couple support staff, but we have a couple attorneys on the team now. And for us, we really care about customer service. As I just mentioned, and yeah, we can't help everyone, unfortunately. But I still don't think I'm the most expensive. But I have to pay my team, and so it used to be, to be honest, I used to charge, I think, a long time ago, like three. I don't know on YouTube. Am I allowed to talk about prices? I think a long time ago, I used to like just charge 3,000 for adjustment of status case or consular processing, but that's just not realistic anymore, unfortunately, with the way our team is built and how the customer service, how we update everyone pretty much almost every month. I know there's some cases where we haven't set that up yet, but that's our goal. And we do also offer free of 15 minutes every week or every month, depending on the plan you select. We offer three different plans: light, pro, and max. And I'll have different prices. So God bless USA. If you have, I'm not sure if you contacted our office before, but if you have, then yeah, I'm not sure if you have actually received our pricing. And we offer free 15-minute consultation. So Although we have increased our prices in the last couple of years, I still don't think I'm that expensive compared to other lawyers. Look, I'm in Texas, not New York or not like the West Coast, or I'm not on the East Coast. So my rent is lower, so I can charge lower pricing. But it's just all different. That is a really good comment because yeah, I gotta pay my team, and based on the customer service, a lot of people think that hiring a lawyer is only like filling out the forms. No, it's not just that. It's a really to update you throughout the way, especially during the coming off the pandemic. And I know a lot of us are not wearing masks anymore, but we still have to take, I mean, not everyone has to take it, but people have the choice to take, you have to use my words carefully here. You have the choice to take the COVID-19 vaccine. And anyway, there's a lot of things, a lot more delays because of the pandemic in general. So hopefully that answered your question. Um, God bless USA. But if God bless USA, if you have not taken advantage of that free 15 minutes, folks, I'm going to go ahead and share the secret code now. That was a great segue right up here. Okay. And there it is, secret green card guys. And you'll see that timely updates, fast turnaround for the max plan. If you hire us, it's typically 30 days to, let's say you hire today, like John or legal team. Um, we, what's it called? I want to file for my case as soon as possible. I want that GC. Oh, I should create a TikTok about this. I want that GC. I want that green card. Okay. And if you, if you want it that fast, we offer intentionally under the max plan 30 days. Okay. We can file it in 30 days. Of course, it takes a lot of team cooperation with you, and our team pretty much contacts you every week, at least for the first month. Okay. So we can get that case filed. Now, I'm sharing that specifically because not every law firm, or let me put it this way, very few law firms, immigration law firms, will tell you how fast they're going to file the case. I don't like lawyers don't like to guarantee things, but go ahead and ask your law firm that you're considering, especially if you want one in person. I completely get it. We're mostly a virtual practice unless you're in Houston. We'll meet you up on certain occasions, but or in Dallas, or Denver actually. And but anyways, yeah, you want to let's see, I'm seeing a couple other comments, so I got a little distracted here. Let's see. Oh, timing the file. Yeah, timing the file. So if if you're like, I'm chill, John. Like, I want my green card, but I don't want it that. I don't need to file it that fast. Then we do have the pro plan. That's in 60 days. Okay. So, and you can still pick the pro plan, less benefits, but you want to file in 30 days. We still have that option too. All right. So, yeah, please don't count us out. Thanks. I appreciate it. Um, God bless USA. Thanks for giving us a chance. And again, there's no obligation. Uh, but when you contact our team, we're going to help you with your mindset because a lot of people are delaying filing their cases. Um, yeah, thanks. God bless USA. I really appreciate you considering our team. We'll try that free 15 minutes. Yeah, I think what you saw, God bless, is that you probably saw the page where it says paid consultation and it does say 149. But that's typically if you really want to pay us, I guess. But we do offer the free 15 minutes. But the folks that have like more strategy questions, maybe you have status right now, like H-1B, and you want like strategize for the future, that takes a lot more time than 15 minutes. And for that kind of situation, yeah, that would be, I guess you could say, expensive. That's $2,500. But because it's just a bunch of hypotheticals. So I realize the difference here. Like when people typically pay a fifth, time, you want that kind of scenario, and we do offer that. But for most people, 96% of people, I really recommend you take advantage of free 15 minutes. Um, but folks, If you don't have time for a consultation yet, that's completely understandable. You want to just find out more information about our team. I greatly appreciate it. Go to our website, greencardguys.com. There's two things, folks. Read our reviews on our website. You can also go to Google profile for that. And you go to our website for the download a free guide. It answers common questions. And so you get information there. And of course, a more popular one right now these days during pandemic is one about mandamus, sue for your legal status. Okay. So can I consult about U visa? Absolutely. We do accept a case about U visa. Um, we do talk about the importance of getting your certification form signed by law enforcement. And hot tip right here, folks, is that for U visa certification, it's only valid for 6 months. So you may have gotten it yourself, for example, or you're thinking about changing lawyers, or your lawyer is very slow to file your case. It'd be a waste of time for everyone, even for law enforcement, the police or sheriff, whoever signed it, if the U visa certification form 918B is past 6 months. So that's why, folks, we in our internal processes, our systems, we have what do you call workflow? Okay, so that we can file things in a certain time frame. Marlon, I remember you asked a question for some reason. I don't know, I didn't intentionally skip it. Let's see here. Which of the processing centers is faster for I-130 at the moment? Great question. Let me pull it up. I love sharing about this. Share my screen. Okay, your question is processing time. So let's go to tools and resources. Which one's the fastest, slowest? So that's a lot of people like to ask that because they're like, well, can I pick the processing center? I live in Vermont or I live in California, I live in Texas. Does that mean I can Marlon, I think yours is based on spouse, US citizen. Can I pick and choose my processing center? Unfortunately, no. You cannot pick and choose. It's completely random for the most part. The victim based applications go to Vermont at least, but let me just click on California. Okay. 10 and a half months. That's great because before a couple weeks ago, it was like 24 months. It was ridiculous. Now I'm going to click on Nebraska. Nebraska and Texas are normally less time. Nebraska also says 10 and a half. I'm now clicking on Texas Service Center, 11 and a half months. So actually, Texas is 1 month slower. Potomac Service Center is 12 months. So almost the same, but it is still frustrating. And 16 months for Vermont Service Center. I don't know what's going on in Vermont. Like they're always the slowest. And California picked up the pace finally, but they're typically slow as well. Basic not. Would I qualify for EAD, a driver license after filing I-130? No, unfortunately, no. You have to be eligible for 485 form, and that means eligible to become a U.S. I'm sorry, eligible to become a permanent resident. So if you're only filing the I-130, that's probably because if you do have a lawyer, but yeah, you don't have contact with them, so you don't know for sure. But if you're filing I-130 only, that probably means you're not eligible for adjustment of status yet. So you don't have to share your entire, immigration history here, basically not, but it looks like you clicked on a form earlier, so hopefully we have a chance to speak with you. But I can give the quick rundown here on the the thing is if you enter with a visa, visitor visa, student visa, any of those J1, any kind of visa, and you enter US and you're still here, you overstayed, you can be eligible to file petition I-130 and the I-485 because you enter with a visa. For example, the most things that people apply for based on a marriage to a spouse, U.S. citizen, but basic not based on what you shared earlier. That your brother is pretty much controlling a case, and looks like they hired a lawyer when you're 18. I suspect your case has nothing to do about a spouse. Um, so yeah, check that out. Okay. And I don't know, maybe I'm just trying to think. Deduce it. It might not be special immigrant juvenile visa because that is using the form I-360. So basic not. I think this year could be your first time commenting because I don't recognize your name, but welcome. Please click subscribe on our channel and go back to our couple other videos about try to find the one that says failure to maintain status because I'm suspecting you could be in that boat, okay, in that situation. But hopefully you have a chance to take a look at that before your free 15 minutes with our team. Okay, God bless USA. Let's see what's going on. Since things have changed in Congress, do I think there would be good news for immigrants? Any good news? There could be. Hopefully, the Biden administration can continue expanding the prosecutorial discretion that I've talked about several times before on the channel, share with y'all. Um, but it's going to be difficult, even though, which is great news, even though the Democrats have ma- majority, okay, control of the Senate, is still, we're still waiting, I believe, for the House of Representatives, okay? And also the Senate, for us to pass something in favor of immigration, it still has to be preferably I think they call it supermajority, where 60 senators are on in favor of the plan. So of course, for better or worse, it's only Democrats right now are the pro-immigration. There are a couple Republicans I can imagine are pro-immigration. I remember seeing that, but it's not always the case. So I think it just depends. Depends. Did I just make up a word? It depends on the immigration form uh, program, the draft, the proposal, the bill. A lot of different words that we use related to that. I do have an alert from Congress. God bless USA. I do receive alerts about different proposals, different changes, updates on related to immigration. So I have it related to immigration, so I can know about the negative type of proposals because there's unfortunately a lot. When there's coming, I know when it's negative because it's number one coming from a Republican, and number two it says something like anti something, anti immigration, or border protection, border security, something ridiculous that they have no idea what they're talking about. I really do think like people who this will make it more complicated, but I really just these politicians, these elected officials have to depend on lobbyists, unfortunately, or like whoever updates them. I would say not. I'm saying nonprofits, but technically, I guess you could say nonprofits would be lobbyists because they're lobbying to the politician for what plan they want to get passed. So, and unfortunately, nonprofits don't have all that money for it, but corporations do. They budget for this to lobby politicians. So, as you can imagine, I'm sure there's border security type construction companies, just like how they got President Trump to lobby him in the Republican Party. So this might be confusing, especially if you're watching from abroad. What the heck is going on in U.S. politics? That's been going on before Trump. People, Republican Party, unfortunately, after George H.W. Bush, um, our president from the 90s, after him, Republicans were, well, actually, after his son, George W. Bush, typically Republicans have been anti immigration, and it all relates to the border. Okay, unfortunately. So, but there's way more than that. Republicans have no idea what they're talking about. If they really want to track people, cases, there's better ways than the border wall. It's all about the money. Okay. The money is at the border. Okay. So, by the way, speaking of that, speaking of money, if you're thinking about hiring a coyote, please think again. Okay. Because you're going to have to. I know this is really probably for people who speak Spanish, but that's a lot of money to pay these coyotes, and you might get stuck at customs. There are better ways. There is a way to get an immigrant visa through work or for family. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Let me say with work. The obvious one is family, but there are ways through work. So you just might have to be more patient and it'll cost less. Okay. You don't have to pay a coyote. And then you'd be stuck with the bill paying the coyote after the smuggler after the fact. Okay. So please think again if you've been considering that. And also please, one last tip here, folks. If you've been thinking about getting into a fake marriage or like, oh, it's just my buddy, we've known each other for a long time. Please be careful. Well, for me, please don't do it. Okay. Please don't do it at all. Okay. And I know it's difficult to find the right person, the right match. But look, if you get this finding from USCIS on your decision letter of denial letter, and it says, um, you're finding of marriage fraud, you can't get an immigration benefit in the future. Okay. So really think about that before you enter it. Now, I'm not saying don't do arranged marriages. Culturally, I know that some cultures that's very common, but think about that. Okay. USCIS officers are really good at detecting if a case is fake. And so don't think you're smarter than them, please. All right. All right, folks. Thank you so much. I went over 30 minutes, and you know what? We'll see you tomorrow. Stay safe, folks. Take care.